Trump even says that we can't deflate the economy. He said it multiple times out there, and he's right. And so you can't meaningfully actually reduce any of these prices without it having a ripple effect in the rest of the economy.
Mark, I want to play this clip for you too, because I know Senator John Kennedy's getting a little bit of flack, but he's also talking about the inflation angle to all of this. Let's take a listen.
Do you think that the Justice Department needs to just pull this Jerome Powell subpoena to try to get the show on the road and address some of those affordability concerns that are kind of flashing warning lights for the midterms?
Well, look, I think that poll was correct.
Okay.
When moms and dads lie down and sleep at night and they can't, they're not lying there, as the Democrats think, worrying about whether a man can breastfeed. They're worried about the cost of living. They're tired of having to sell blood plasma to go to the grocery store. They're tired of the increases in their housing costs and their insurance. I mean, I could go on and on. And it needs to be addressed, and I've encouraged the president to address it. And it's not enough to tell the American people not to believe their own lying checkbooks. Mm-hmm. They know about their personal finances. Is the president responsible for the remaining inflation? No, he helped get inflation down from 9% to roughly 3%. But it's still not enough. And every waking hour in Congress, and I've told Senator Thune this, my good friend, should be spent on trying to figure out what ways to increase wages and reduce prices. And we can do it.
Are you worried about losing?
So, Mark, I want you to weigh in on this, obviously, because, I mean, he sounds like what you and I sound like when we talk back and forth all the time, but the inflation angle to this is a key one. Again, it's not President Trump's fault when we talk about the inflation that's gone on. And I do believe that a chunk of this also is corporate greed. I don't see that a lot of these companies are going to start bringing down their prices because they think that the American people have adjusted to paying a premium price for their products. But I want to hear your take on that.
I mean, he is always right on the target, and he's exactly correct. And he sounds like what Trump needs to sound like, and Trump isn't. I said this in the White House November 18th last fall. And I said, stop saying that we have achieved the American golden age. We have not yet, and we're not going to. It's going to take a lot of work, but you have to understand the reasons that we're here. And it's like you said, corporate greed, corporatism, a lack of government oversight, a lack of ethics in these boardrooms, short-term focus on stock market gains, like all of these things, the offshoring that has not been attacked, the H-1B, all of these ways that undercut Americans' wages. Yes, we have inflation, and most of it's because of Biden, but it's also, let's be fair, a two-party problem. But Trump even says that we can't deflate the economy. He said it multiple times out there, and he's right. And so you can't meaningfully actually reduce any of these prices without it having a ripple effect in the rest of the economy. We can't actually reduce prices. We can stop inflation. Congratulations, he did. But you have everything that's much more expensive than median income because wages have been suppressed for 2 decades. They've been suppressed by both parties. And so if you can't get prices down, then stop talking about prices coming down. Reframe it as, yes, we're going to create economic opportunity. These investments will yield more jobs. Everything we are going to do is there to inflate the labor market. And that's the number one thing, in my opinion, that would help with the under 40 voters. They don't want, like, what they say they support it because they know you're not doing anything. They don't, the wealth confiscation and redistribution to help them buy houses. They will go for that if you can't give them an alternative. But the alternative is if they have a high paying white collar job, then they can afford a house. And then they're not complaining about affordability and they can start a family and raise kids, and all of the problems with our social culture get rolled back. Like, remember, Charlie Kirk told us this. This is how you create conservatives. You get them married, you get them a mortgage, you get them a high-paying job. And Trump doesn't really talk about that at all. And I said, you have to smash the oligarchy and not be the oligarchy. And what would an oligarchy want? What would a circle of plutocrats that surround Donald Trump want? They would want wage levels suppressed. And that's what big business wants. And that's what big business pays Republican lobbyists want. They want endless, infinite immigration. They want a bottomless well of scab labor. They don't want unions. They want a free market and open economics so that they can increase corporate profits. And so, again, we're talking about an affordability framed with egg and gas prices. when wages have been suppressed for decades and corporations are going to have record corporate profits this year coming up. It's going to be a banner year for corporate profits. So there's no belt tightening there. And Americans know this. Corporations are mistrusted even more than the federal government in polling. They say these industries, these tech companies, these large, and the young people know it. 3/4 of voters under 40 want major industries nationalized. That's their level of concern. And so when Trump surrounds himself with these people and is very comfortable hugging them and having them invest in building the East Wing, and they're going to renovate the Kennedy Center now, and then he's going to like, hey, look at these marble armrests we have, but you're never getting a house. It's not going to work. It's not the path forward.
It's frustrating, and I know it's the reason why so many young people are turning to communism. And that, you know, they look at the liberals and they say, oh, well, these are trying to address the affordability crisis. And it's not the case, but it's the only one really having the conversation. You know, there was just the report that Zohran Madani over in New York City, who's obviously trying to run New York like a communist regime right now. But ultimately, he's celebrating the fact that he's had a good start to his term so far, even though 10 homeless people have died from the freezing temperatures because he's refused to force them to get housing. And so this is what they do. And sadly, their voters will not pay attention to see, well, so far things are not looking too well for them. And he promised them affordable housing. He promised them all these things, but he's actually prioritizing getting affordable housing for ex-cons rather than the people that voted for him. So I think that's an interesting element to all of this. But as you just detailed too, you know, the companies, we don't really hear President Trump calling out the companies by name, although he will probably apply pressure behind the scenes. I mean, a lot of these corporations are refusing to bring down the costs of a lot of these products. You know, I heard Target was going to reduce a couple of their items, hundreds of their items, the pricing. I shop at Target quite frequently, and I actually have not seen a reduction in the prices itself. Why do you think he refuses to say their names, though?
Well, and what's weird to me is like he picks a couple punching bags, right? Like Jamie Dimon got upset when Trump capped interest rates at 10% on the credit card companies, which I will add is very deflationary. That's a very deflationary thing. And so there's not even internal consistency here. It's like, hey, no, these home values can't go down, but we're going to eradicate maybe hundreds of millions of billions of dollars of credit. And so that's what kind of weird. And so I wonder if there isn't like art of the deal going on behind the scenes. But again, that Trump turn one, art of the deal was adequate. Getting a list of accomplishments, no matter what they were, putting them on a list was adequate. Now what's going to happen is that you're going to have these traditional conservatives, these establishment Republicans who will come out and vote for whatever person the Republicans put on the ballot. They just will. But the problem is the under 40s don't call themselves Republican. The Trump voters are not conservative, mostly. They just want drastic action and they want the system fixed. And unless you're talking about the things that they want fixed, and yes, they think that corporations are the problem. And again, we have all of these things that are super popular. Like, for instance, should the federal government impose strong penalties against U.S. employers who knowingly hire illegal immigrants? It's like, yeah, of course. It's plus 26. Plus 26. E-Verify, which we have. We could just mandate it at a federal level. We have E-Verify. It's plus 44. Plus 44. Trump's -7. Yeah. Mandating E-Verify at the federal level is plus 44. Like, why wouldn't we do that? And then hiring illegal workers harms legal workers by reducing pay, diminishing working conditions, and making fewer jobs available to Americans. And Americans are like, yes, obviously, of course, 58% to 36% plus 22. And yet he's out there saying, well, you know, we need these workers, right? We can't get, you know, they're working real hard. They've been here forever.
Yeah. It's not what the American people want to hear. I mean, we voted for mass deportations. I took it to another level, though, in my head and said, let's deport the liberals as well. Although I know that's probably not what he meant. But no, we voted for mass deportations, and anything but is actually discouraging. And I saw the numbers, too, that they're, you know, the goal is 1 million deported a year, but that's not nearly enough. And we need to figure out how to ramp up those numbers. The good news, though, is they are opening warehouses up. There's 23 warehouses going up that are going to turn into ICE detention facilities soon, which is a good angle for it. But I mean, we need to triple those numbers. We need to get these people out of the country.
Yeah.